Hey, you guys, thanks for listening in to this episode of Tips with T. On today, I have Miss Brenda Bailey with us. B. Bailey. How are you doing, Miss Brenda?
I'm well. Thank you so much for asking. I'm glad to be here. Excited.
Glad, glad to have you on the show today. So tell us more about yourself and what you do.
We're going to get on in. Okay. So, I've been an entrepreneur for 28 years. I had a seven-figure sales company. I did trade show sales for 14 years. And as I say, something called the internet was a coming. And I knew that people's buying habits and how they got information was going to change. So then I went ahead and I went back to school, thought I would become an acupuncturist because I love acupuncture. But I already at that point had 8 certifications in integrative healing. And then I found one called Theta Healing that works with people's belief systems on a cellular level, their trauma, their non-forgiveness.
Mhm.
And it made such a difference for me that I combined my entrepreneurial experience with that. It allows people to make really big changes very quickly, permanently. And most people work with me. If that's what they want, they start making more money. So that's how I created the Shatter Your Income Ceiling program, because I just put together a protocol, specific things we needed to address, and that's what I do.
Awesome. So since that's what you do now, how has that journey been for you as far as that part of entrepreneurship with your business?
Well, as I say, my first business was luck. I was young and stupid, and but did well. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was a big deal what I was doing as a woman. I think they say the statistics are that 10% of uh, privately owned entrepreneurial businesses that do over annually $1 million are women owned. That's sad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that what I was doing was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, had a near death experience that devastated me financially and had to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm going to tell you the best way to start over is in your own business,
Mm-hmm.
because you're able to get back what you put into it. As
Awesome.
much as my parents would have loved for me to have gotten a regular job,
Mm-hmm.
I just had already at that point been self-employed for like 16, 17 years. I just couldn't imagine doing anything else. I say at this point, who's going to hire me?
Right. All right. And that's and working and entrepreneurship is not for everybody, and then working for someone is not for everybody. So I had to learn that for myself. I completely kind of learned now, like this pandemic had taught me, I don't like working for other people. I like working for myself. And like you said, I choose during this pandemic to um look at different ways I can start other businesses as well, because I just want to completely work for myself. I feel like it's less stressful. Um, um, and I want to do something that I enjoy. And like you said, what you put into your business, you can get back. So it's fulfilling. It's more fulfilling to me than actually going and I just going working on someone else's job and making them, I guess we can say, rich, making their pockets fat, and you're not really being fulfilled. So I can.
I was at a point where I was in sales, and it just inevitably felt like that I was being held back because of my sales ability.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't get promotions
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't want me to move beyond what I was doing, because
Right.
they wanted me to continue making them money.
Right.
And that didn't seem fair to me, because some people are just meant to be salespeople. And I don't mean that mean or good, bad, or
Mm-hmm.
indifferent, because if you're good at sales, I'm telling you, those are the top earners, right? So get out of their way, let them make money for your company, pay them their commission, and send them on their way. But I was capable of more and wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
And those opportunities were going by. And it just always felt like there were a lot of people who were very resentful at how successful I was in doing it. And it felt like if I was going to have to put up with all of that, I may as well do it for myself. And my sister really encouraged me and said, why are you making money for somebody else? Make that money for you.
Mm-hmm.
And she was right.
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur, I have a friend who says, if you want to know what you need to work on, be in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I say if you want to know what you need to work on, start a business.
Right.
So, that's the thing. It is not for the light of heart. It is not for the person who's not willing to do some inner work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for the person who doesn't have faith
Right.
in themselves, right? And you got to have some type of faith. And I'm not a Bible buff, but you've got to have faith
Mm-hmm.
to know that this too shall pass. This may feel hard. This pandemic will pass. But the bottom line is that more people become millionaires during recessions than any other time. History shows it. So a lot of people who have that employee mentality, not good, bad, or indifferent, no judgment, will be like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But an entrepreneur will be like, where is the opportunity? Not to take advantage of people, but where's money being left on the table? Where is there money to be made?
Mm-hmm.
Without having to hoard, hand sanitizer or, take advantage of situations, you can make money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people don't see it that way, but I feel the exact same way. I'm like, why, where you can make your own self rich? Like,
Well, because it's not, it's hard it's hard emotionally to be a entrepreneur. And you
mm-hmm.
do in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
have to do without,
Mm-hmm.
because you're pouring money back into your business. You're investing back into your business. So, I mean, I'm going to say, like, in the first 2 years, you're not going to be taking a cruise around the world, right? Your
Yep.
money's going to be going back into your business. So you have to make sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, they don't want to make sacrifices.
Right.
They don't. And, you know, uh, again, not good, bad, or indifferent. You have to do with, if, and I say, especially here during this pandemic, we
Mm-hmm.
sure are understanding the illusion of job security.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah.
And we're also dealing with the illusion that the government's going to take care of us.
Yeah.
That's an illusion as well. And again, no, I'm not being political or anything like that,
Right.
but I always say that there are these times when there's so much going on in the world and
Mm-hmm.
people are needing help. Who steps up? Our communities and churches.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our government. And again, history shows us. I'm not saying the government's bad, and I'm not doing any
Right.
conspiracy theories here or anything like that, but that's truly what happens. So it's us who can make more money
Mm-hmm.
that can help people
Right.
in their time of need. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's one of the best things about being an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm. It
is
is.
being philanthropic and the freedom that it gives us.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Um, so you teach your clients, which are entrepreneurs, um, healing techniques. So how has that aspect helped their business in any way, or how did you integrate those healing techniques?
So most of my clients don't actually, well, okay, I'm going to say it's 50-50. We'll learn the technique that I teach.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage them all to learn it, because no matter what, it's a tool they can at least use on themselves when they're feeling a little wobbly, right? When, it's an extra support. But I use it in what I do, because this is the thing. What you think is going on and the reason why you're getting wobbly is not what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been doing this for 14 years, so I can usually ask a few questions and know what needs to change. And it'll bypass the mind, the emotions, the conscious, the subconscious, and it changes on a cellular level, and it just automatically makes it easier for people. Mm-hmm. So it gets people out of their way. It also allows them to stop blocking opportunities. Because
Mm-hmm.
when we're in worry, when we're wobbly, when we're not being objective in our businesses, when we're being reactive, we're not in our zone of genius. We're
Right.
not getting everything out, what we need to get out of our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that you can read a lot of books, you can hear people talk about it. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, easier said than done. So for me, my big thing is that I don't want to just tell you not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to shift it so that you just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an option. And to me, that's what's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
People who have been in business for a little while, they know they don't have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that it's worth it for them to invest in somebody to help them. Now
Mm-hmm.
you got to vet the person. Again, I'm not intended to be the person for everyone, and I know that, and I'm fine with that. I'm for that person who wants to make it quick, easy, permanent, and doesn't have to do it all themselves, and is willing to invest in themselves and in their business for it to be different, and for 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 there not to be a ceiling, for them not to limit themselves without them having to think about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
you know it's like we were just talking about stretching, right? I was
Right.
like, do this stretch, it's I'm all about what's easiest, what makes sense, and how can I help you. Theta healing's not the answer always. Sometimes it's just doing a different stretch. That's what
Mm-hmm.
but that's how I look at things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, um, definitely. Because, like you said, when we're to that point where we're stressed, and sometimes we don't realize that we're stressing, but our body has a way of showing us whether we start having aches and pains. So yeah, it's a difference when it does make a difference. Like just like one little stretch, like with me, one little stretch for me will really help me as far as get that stress out my body. I think a lot of people think we tend to just have emotional stress, but no, we tend to have like physical stress on our bodies too as
Well, it
well.
manifests
Mm-hmm.
physically for a lot of people. And people don't understand the certain things that they do, whether emotionally. I mean, again, we were just talking about where you put your computer, how you look at computer, and because we're all on the computer so much more now,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the shifting that we have to do on the placement of it to support ourselves. And a lot of times people don't even, like, I do this really intense exercise class, and the thing is, of course, as it gets hard, what am I doing, right? So I have to
Crazy.
make sure, like, that I'm holding my shoulders down and I'm breathing,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what we do. We're like, it's like we're on like a roller coaster ride when it's
Yeah.
so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, how has your techniques helped your clients reach their ideal wealth?
This is the thing, what ends up happening, and you'll see it all the time. So, because this has to do with a little bit of law of attraction, a little bit of, uh, mindset, and what we put out in the universe. It's a little new agey, right? Most of the information out there will tell you need to change how you think in order to change your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I often tell people, if you want to know what you believe, look at what you have now.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to utilize that only 11% of your brain that you use, and you want to waste it on having to think about, you know, not being so reactive, not being so worried, not being so, oh gosh, what else can we be, not being so fearful,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not able to use that 11% for what you need to really be doing. And that's your zone of genius.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about what you want, not what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the information out there will tell you to change your thinking. You got to change things on a cellular level to allow your brain to be different, and your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And they will also tell you, well, just work on your self-worth. Oh my gosh. I have to be honest. If I hear that one more time, because it's self-worth is a symptom. It's not what's going on. And what my technique does is it does a lot of things. But what I really focus on people is what they believe. So what they're drawing into their lives, what their repeating patterns are, because, we do that definition of insanity. And then all of a sudden we know, like, the common denominator here is me. And also, what, as an entrepreneur, spoiler alert, you're going to make some mistakes.
Right.
If you are scared to do something for fear of making another mistake, don't be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to let it hold you back and having faith in yourself and your decisions, but what ends up happening for human beings, we're just being human, so we make a mistake, and then either we're so concerned about it that we repeat the same mistake,
Mm-hmm.
or we don't take any action for fear to make the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be able to forgive ourselves. We have to be able to forgive the people who caused us to be like that to begin with. We
Mm-hmm.
have to forgive the situations that happened, like if we made a mistake or if there was, an injustice done to us, because there are so many ways that we've been traumatized and we've been neglected and we've been, taken advantage of, and all of that. We have to forgive all of those.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have to remove the trauma around all of these things on a cellular level. And when you do that, and I promise you, I can do that in 90 minutes for a person. When you do that, your life will be completely different. You will move in your business and your life differently.
Mm-hmm.
You will attract, all of a sudden, you'll be like, all of these opportunities are coming. Well, they were there, but you were blocking them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'll have this like $1 million idea because your brain is not so clouded up with stuff that it doesn't need to be clouded up. And that's what ends up happening. And people are always amazed because I tell people this all the time. Well, just give me, have a session with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always so bold. Like I'll be bold here, but if somebody's talking to me, for some people, it's look at me and go, if you just had a session with me, well, that could be different for you. And I don't always say that to everybody because I don't know people that well, right? So I'll just listen and go, well, here's something that you could consider. I'll say it nicer, but but for somebody else, I just had this one guy who's an investor. He invests in the markets, and he did a program that I had, and made $1 million. And then he ended up quitting because we innately, because of the trauma, the non-forgiveness, we will create situations
Mm-hmm.
that will cause us to sabotage ourselves.
Right.
So to stop that, and so then he finally said, I think I want to have that session now.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like, you know, making a lot of money now. And even said, because he wants to do my one-on-one program, and he said, I don't think I can do it until next year. And I said, oh no, we can do it next month. Again, I know him really well, so I can say that to him. And sure enough, he texted me, he said, yeah, I'll be ready to start next month.
Mm-hmm.
So, and, people tell me that all the time. Oh my gosh, I had a session, and all of a sudden, I started working with you, and deals got approved and funding got approved. And, that's just what happens because we just don't realize like what we're doing. Because as entrepreneurs, we are our business.
Yes.
So I always say, if I help you personally, I'll help you professionally. If I help you professionally, I help you personally. Mm-hmm. I'm also a certified instructor. I teach this technique, and for the first time in 20 years, we get to teach it virtually, which is a huge deal. And I can help anybody. I don't care what you do for a living. I can show you how to implement it either for yourself to really support yourself, or how you can make money with it. I love the saying, money's not the most important thing, but it touches everything that is.
Mm-hmm.
Money's important.
Mm-hmm. It is. And it's easy. I mean, I feel like it makes life a lot easier when you're able to make money with something that you enjoy doing instead of something that stresses you out.
And see, I love helping people make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I just think it's important. And I think that once people can have that freedom and be able to get paid for what they're worth, mm-hmm. and be able to make a contribution in their zone of genius to the world, because the world's just waiting for you to do that it's a magical thing. I always say, I feel like I'm not sure why I've done this for so long, right? 28 years. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine doing it any differently. And I guess I have the constitution to be able to go with the ups and downs. Because again, 28 years, this is not my first recession. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be my last. Mm-hmm. As I say, we knew a recession was coming. We just didn't know a recession was coming with a quarantine.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't know that piece.
Yeah. We didn't know exactly when, but we knew one was coming.
But I had already, as I say, I started doing my own nails. Mm-hmm. I stopped dyeing my hair. Years ago, I moved my business virtually. I said, apparently I've been preparing for this pandemic for a long time and just didn't know it.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that kind of thing. It's like, okay. And so we just pivot. I know some people don't like that word, but I got to tell you, as an entrepreneur, you'll do it a lot. You will pivot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's whether, do you want to work with somebody like me that can make it easier to pivot? Or do you want to do it all yourself? That's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you never want to do this on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You want a team, you want, accountability,
Mm-hmm.
and you want somebody who can make a difference so that you don't have to work so hard, so that you can work smarter, not harder. And also too, as an entrepreneur here in the US, it's always gonna be a little tight and on an election year. So
Mm-hmm.
not only did we have the pandemic here in the US, but we had an election year as well.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm going to tell you, the blessing is that because of the pandemic, people held on their money for a couple of months, but then they couldn't hold on to it any longer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just couldn't help it. They were like, please, where can I spend my money?
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Like,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, think about it for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. You were like, not spending that much. And then all of a sudden you were like, oh my gosh, whether it be on groceries or whatever, you were like, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not buying clothes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because where am I going, right? I mean, I'm not going to dress up to be at home, but I certainly have been spending it on other things
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And other people, people have.
Mm-hmm. You are exactly right. You're exactly right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Brenda, for coming on the show and sharing with us about your business and what you do and the tips about, the healing techniques and what we need to do in order to get that wealth that we desire. So, tell our listeners what, where can we get in contact with you if we want to render your services, and I'm gonna share your social media handles.
I'll let you share them. So first off, if you have questions like, can you really help me, Brenda? Can this, um, by all means, I have a scheduling link that's chatwithbrendab.com. Feel free to schedule like a 30-minute session. I've been an entrepreneur for 28 years. I promise you, if I don't think I can help you, I won't tell you that I can, but I also know probably somebody who can. So I will absolutely recommend you to somebody. If you want to find out about theta healing, a session, I'm, taking a class so you can learn this technique. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I look forward to it. So please take advantage of that. I also, on Facebook, am starting a new group, which I'm super excited about, called the Wealth Vibe Acceleration Group. So Wealth Vibe Acceleration, just search it and join the group, because we're going to be doing some really great vibrational ways to be able to support you, because that's what theta healing does, is it vibrationally supports you. So what do you got to lose? Really nothing. You can gain money by participating it. So, and also, I have a free Draw Money to You MP3. It's 1 minute, and it's at shatteryourincomeCeiling.com. And I always tell people, do it first thing in the morning, last thing at night. So if there's some way that you want to be able to help your mindset, that MP3 is it. And it's only 2 minutes that I'm telling you to do it, right? So 1 minute in the morning, 1 minute in the evening, fit it in your schedule. If it's not money that you want to draw to, is it, if it's balance, if it's health, if it's relationships. I mean, I look at money, but it's your intention in the meditation. So use it how you want to, but be consistent for 30 days and whatever your intention is, and you'll see a difference. It will make a huge difference for you. So again, chatwithbrendab.com, shatteryourincomeCeiling.com, Wealth Vibe Acceleration. Search it. I hope that you'll come, because we're going to be doing some really cool things in there.
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna look it out. While you was over here telling me these things, I was over here just jotting them down.
I hope so. I want to see you there, Tara, because it'll make a huge difference. But at least do the meditation, if anything. Again, it's a very helpful. I know you're like, what can happen in a minute? A lot. I get emails all the time about it. So, but again, nothing works if you don't use it. I was telling you.
Awesome. So you guys make sure you check Miss Brenda out and all these free things that she's giving away. I'm definitely gonna look them out for myself. And if you guys want to get in contact with me, you can by doing so. My number is 910-317-0396. You can shoot me an email at contact@mjfinancial.biz. You can schedule a consultation on the website, www.mjfinancial.biz. And you can also, you guys, find this episode on Anchor, and you can find this replay for the video on the YouTube channel. So thank you once again, Miss Brenda B. Bailey, for coming on, sharing with us your tips. I hope to have you on the show again. Maybe you can walk us through an exercise of how you do with the healing.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I will, send some emails to Tiara, tell her what you want to work on, and we'll do it.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Awesome. Well, all right, you guys. And we thank you again, Miss Brenda, and we will see you on the next episode, you guys, of Tips with Tea.